Scared, fierce, talented, exhausted.
How to Get Away with Murder hit our screens in 2014, and after 6 seasons, the legal dramatic thriller finally reached its end in early 2020. Fans were thrilled and eager to know who got away with murder. At the end of the 6th season, so many things that had fans guessing from the first episode were eventually revealed. The final episode of the show answered some of the series' biggest questions, including the sudden mystery gunshot victim, which the episode began with. Who was shot? How did Annalise's trial go? Will she be found guilty? As a result, fans watching for the first time have been left with plenty of questions about the series finale, and its ending needs to be explained. The climactic season concludes the story of Annalise Keating, Middleton University professor and criminal defense attorney, along with her group of 5 loyal students who have been with her from the start. Fans are eager to know these answers. How to Get Away with Murder's finale offered some lighter moments too. Namely, Annalise was not killed and was, of course, acquitted of murdering Asher, giving Annalise a happier ending than some fans had feared. It was revealed that although the funeral we'd been stealing glances of was a real funeral, it was set many years in the future after Viola Davis's character had passed away as an old woman. Well, today we're going to explain the 6th season of How to Get Away with Murder. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice, so be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Firstly, we will be looking into Annalise Keating's, Viola Davis's trial. The trial is the main story of the 6th season, and what is a dramatic finale without a few twists and turns. Here's how the trial played out. The central storyline is, of course, the trial itself. The finale throws a few twists and turns, although none as big as Laurel's, Karla Souza's, surprise backing of Annalise and family telling the truth for once in the previous episode. The finale gave us 3 major testimonies. George Castillo, Azai Morales, takes the stand and declares his innocence and also denies that the FBI and governor were involved in the conspiracy to take down Annalise. Along with Governor Burkhead, Laura Ines, who also denies being part of the conspiracy. Luckily, there is a brief caught red-handed moment when Annalise comes up with a surprising audio file that Frank got, which shows Hannah, Marcia Gay Harden, talking to Xavier, Gerardo Valesco, about the conspiracy and accusing the Burkhead of killing Nate LaHaye Sr. in the 5th season. Gabriel, Rome Flynn, is also persuaded, thanks to a suitcase of cash, not to take the stand. But all of these moments seem almost unimportant by the end of the trial. That wasn't the last hurdle for Annalise. These final twists add plausibility to Annalise's win, but the real gut punch of her court case has nothing to do with Burkhead, Hannah, Gabriel, or even the surviving members of the Keating Five. Instead, it's all about Annalise's final speech. In a stunning scene, she breaks down the true focus of this whole convoluted conspiracy, that Annalise has committed the crime of being black, ambitious, unlikable, bisexual, powerful, capable. From the scene of her removing her wig, to her dressing for court montage, to her decision to wear her natural hair, How to Get Away with Murder has been making an increasingly powerful statement about the place of black women. The finale doubles down on that, refusing to shy away from her position, her growth, and her place in the world. And it's this that leaves fans cheering as she receives her not guilty verdicts. Up next, after Annalise was acquitted of all charges by the jury, she stepped out of the courtroom and onto the courthouse steps to answer a couple of questions from the press. At that moment, Frank shot Governor Burkhead, but he didn't get away scot-free as there was a crossfire and both Frank and Bonnie were killed. According to Nowalk, Frank and Bonnie had to die. He said Frank had already put himself in a position where everyone believed he could sacrifice himself for Annalise, and he got to that position due to his guilt for the death of Annalise's child. As for Bonnie, everyone really wanted her to have a happy ending, given that she had suffered a lot on the show, but the producer, Noel, felt the show could use a little tragedy resulting from the already existing tragedy on the show. Although their deaths may have been a tragedy, if there is an afterlife, they will get to be together. So, from a different angle, their death is like Romeo and Juliet. Next up is a compilation of who dies and who doesn't in the season's finale. There were a lot of surprises in this finale, as well as a couple of unexpected deaths. Of course, the finale couldn't simply wrap up with a rousing speech, a victory, and a happy ending. There were too many characters who were still alive, and the shootout at the courthouse kept fans in the dark about whether or not Annalise had gotten karmic justice and died, or if she was still alive. However, Annalise does survive, all the way to the funeral that is finally revealed to be happening after she has lived a long life and died in her old age. Tegan, Amira Vaughn, also survives the carnage, and she's seen dancing with Annalise in the future. Laurel goes into hiding. As soon as the gunshots go off, she manages to put baby Christopher in the car, protecting her baby as always, and both Connor, Jack Falahee, and Oliver, Conrad Ricamora, make it through, although Connor is headed to prison, as he is arrested alongside Michaela for the murder of Asher, and Oliver is facing divorce. Michaela, Aja Naomi King, also survives, out of jail, but friendless and alone. She gave up the family she found in Keating 5 by betraying them, but in her defense, she had to keep herself safe. The rest, though, are all dead. Wes and Asher, Matt McGorry, are long gone, along with Sam, Tom Verica, and Hannah. Governor Burkhead is the victim of the shooting at the courthouse, shot by Frank in a rage. Bonnie, Liza Wheel, and Frank, Charlie Weber, also both die on the steps that day. Frank shot down by guards, Bonnie caught in the crossfire. According to Nowalk, if everyone was going to walk away with their life, then it wasn't at all going to feel like a good story or a true story. Next is Annalise's funeral. We finally learned the truth behind Annalise's long-teased funeral, and Alfred Enoch, who played Wes Gibbins in How to Get Away with Murder first 3 seasons, was not returning as Wes at the funeral, but as an adult version of Wes and Laurel's son, Christopher, who became a Middleton University professor himself. The season starts with a funeral, and for many weeks, fans are left in the dark about whether Annalise was dead or she faked her death. The series ends with a funeral shown at the start, which was in fact Annalise's. It was held for her legitimate death, just when she was an older woman, and it was set many, many years in the future. Connor and Oliver are there together, and Laurel is there with her adult son, who looks exactly like Wes. In fact, Alfred Enoch played the role of Christopher. He just didn't speak Spanish anymore at this time. He was Wes and Laurel's son. The fascinating thing about how this wraps up, especially considering the funeral and final moments, is that it spends 6 seasons building up complex, sympathetic murderers, and then ends with a surprisingly moralistic, yet realistic conclusion, where everyone seems to get what they deserve based largely on how much lying and killing they did. Annalise, consummate liar, doesn't actually kill people, and she is vindicated, coming out strong, and then having a full, loved life before her eventual demise. Laurel, who told the whole truth at the end, redeemed herself to become a family friend of Annalise's. Connor and Oliver, who didn't kill but lied and were complicit, were willing to accept their punishments, if not tell the truth, at the end. And if this vindicated Connor, while Oliver had to face years alone and win back the trust of his husband for his willingness to betray Annalise for selfish reasons. Nowalk also explained why he felt Annalise deserved a triumphant ending, adding, "I felt like she was such a triumphant character who beat down her problems and fought and persevered. It was really important for me that she had a triumphant ending." In a bid to show its morality, the series showed us what happened to people on the wrong side of justice, and how it eventually ended poorly for them. The worst liars and killers in the bunch were the ones who met their doom. Asher, who was a killer, as well as a liar, and a mole for the FBI, and Wes, who killed Sam. Bonnie and Frank, although fighting for Annalise, also met their ends, as they also had their hands in a couple of killings, including Governor Burkhead. The death of Bonnie and Frank was quite heartbreaking, as Bonnie was innocent, and Frank was merely a victim. Burkhead's death goes without pity, as she also killed and conspired. Speaking to TV Line in an interview about the series finale, and how they pulled those twists out of the bag, series creator Pete Nowalk admitted that he never wanted to kill Annalise, despite Viola Davis's idea for a typical How to Get Away with Murder mystery. The questions about that flash-forward funeral scene and the apparent reappearance of Wes, Alfred Enoch, are answered, but the final episode, Stay, does more than simply wrap up the obvious questions. As a finale, it offers closure on each of the main characters, while delivering a surprisingly moral message about telling the truth and moving past the things that each of the major players has done. That is a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you stick to our channel for more exciting videos.